A long time ago, a grand ship set sail across the vast ocean. It carried many passengers filled with hopes, dreams, and stories. The journey was smooth, but one fateful night, a storm erupted without warning. The sky turned pitch black, and violent waves towered over the ship, crashing down like hammers. Passengers screamed in terror as the ship began to break apart. Amid the chaos, one man clung desperately to a piece of wood as the vessel was swallowed by the raging sea. Hours later, he washed ashore on a deserted island. When he opened his eyes, he found himself in an unfamiliar place. The land was harsh and barren, an endless stretch of sand, jagged rocks, and a thick forest. There was no sign of life, no sound of civilization, only the crashing waves and the cries of seagulls. He sat up, shivering and hungry, and whispered, "God, please help me. Don't leave me here alone." The first day, he searched the island, hoping to find other survivors or something useful from the wreckage. But all he found were a few planks and pieces of rope washed ashore. That night, he lay on the cold, hard ground, staring at the stars. He prayed for a miracle. Each morning, he climbed the tallest hill, scanning the horizon for a passing ship. But every time, all he saw was the endless ocean. Days turned into weeks. His voice grew hoarse from shouting for help. Slowly, his hope began to fade. After weeks of waiting, he realized no one was coming. Accepting his fate, he decided to make the island his home. Gathering wood, leaves, and grass, he built a small hut to protect himself from the scorching sun and the rain. It wasn't much, but it felt like an accomplishment, a symbol of his survival. He scavenged the beach for anything useful from the shipwreck. He found a torn piece of cloth, a broken knife, and a few wooden planks which he used to craft basic tools. For food, he cracked open coconuts and learned to catch fish in the shallow waters. Each night as he sat by the fire outside his hut, he thought about his family, his friends, and the life he had left behind. "Maybe this is my fate," he told himself. "Maybe I'm meant to live and die on this island." One day, while cooking fish over the fire, he decided to venture deeper into the forest to look for fruits. He left the fire burning and walked away. Hours later, as he returned, he froze in shock. His hut, the only thing that had brought him comfort, was engulfed in flames. Thick black smoke rose high into the sky as the fire devoured everything he had built. He dropped to his knees, overwhelmed with despair and anger. "Why, God?" he cried. "Why would you do this to me? I prayed to you for help, and instead, you've taken away the only thing I had. Haven't I suffered enough?" The man spent the rest of the evening cursing his fate and questioning God's plan. As night fell, he lay on the beach, too broken to move. Eventually, exhaustion pulled him into a restless sleep. At dawn, he was startled awake by an unfamiliar sound. It was loud, rhythmic, and distant. He sat up, squinting toward the horizon. His heart skipped a beat. A ship was anchored near the shore, and a small boat was rowing toward him. He jumped to his feet, waving his arms and shouting with all his might. The sailors saw him and quickened their pace. When they reached the shore, the man collapsed to his knees in relief. Thank you for saving me," he cried, tears streaming down his face. One of the sailors asked, "How long have you been here?" "Months," the man replied. "I thought I'd never leave this place." The captain stepped forward and asked, "How did you signal us?" "We saw a massive plume of smoke from miles away and knew someone was in trouble." The man stared at the captain, confused. "Signal? I didn't. Wait a minute." He paused as the realization hit him. The smoke, the fire, his burning hut. The fire that had destroyed everything was the very thing that brought his rescue. Looking up at the sky, he whispered, "I'm sorry, God. I didn't understand. Thank you for saving me." As the ship sailed away, the man reflected on his ordeal. What he had seen as a tragedy was actually part of a greater plan. He realized that even in the darkest moments, there was a purpose beyond his understanding. Life doesn't always go as we plan. When everything seems to fall apart, it's easy to lose hope and question why. But sometimes those moments are the very turning points that lead us to something greater. Trust the journey, even when it's hard. God's plan for us is always bigger and better than we can imagine. If you enjoyed this story and found its message inspiring, make sure to subscribe to our channel and hit the bell icon so you never miss an update.